Peace be with you. I want to talk about the AA meeting last night. Sorry, I had a brain fart for a second. And I made an intro already. I started this video. I was like 5 minutes in, and all of a sudden it just like shut off. It like closed down. I have no idea what happened, so I'm kind of annoyed. But whatever. Woke up from my nap, doing this video. Because if I don't make the video, I'm just gonna keep having whimsy adventures, and I'm gonna forget to make something and share it. But I'm drinking this. It's called Aurora Bora. I got it because it reminded me of Aurora Borealis, whatever. Aurora Borealis, the Northern Lights. Which coincidentally, right, when that last there was like Northern Lights seen in Texas, and when I was in Minnesota for 3 days, Minneapolis, and I missed the Northern Lights. I was just like, how are people in Texas seeing it? And when I went out in Minnesota, I didn't see them at all. And I was like, well, that's backwards. Nature, you think you're funny, huh? You're as funny as that poor porcupine on this that has turned himself into kebabs, having strawberries on him, man. Talk about a fruit salad. That's one way to do it, little guy. Little porcupine. This definitely, because this... oh, that's cute. Oh, it has a whole story on it, huh? Hello, world. From the land to your hand, meet Aurora Bora. Our sparkling waters are made with herbs, fruits, and flowers for earthly tastes and heavenly feelings. These herbaceous hills bursting with fresh strawberries, I wear them as hats. Well, isn't that like such a random thing to put on the can? I wear them as hats. It's like, no, you wear them as kebabs, sir. You wear them as kebabs. You don't need pockets, man. You got all your porcupines. You can put them on. But the basil, it definitely tastes like an Italian feast. Excuse me. It's very aromatic, I would say. Very herbaceous. It lingers. Excuse me. Which reminds me, sometimes actually, when I wanted like a real adrenaline rush to wake me up, because I grow, what's it called? Arugula. I grow arugula in my aero garden or my vertical garden inside. And if you take a couple like fresh leaves of that and eat it, oh, it lights you up. It clears your sinuses. It wakes you up better than any shot of caffeine or adrenaline or any drug, man. That perks you up because of the natural spiciness. Arugula, guys, is like, I equate it to like Latin love. What people say Latin love is, you know how they like, you have the chocolates or whatever, and the mom chasing or the wife chasing you and throwing it at you and stuff. That very passionate expression of emotion and feeling and thought. Eat raw arugula, like fresh picked, and you're gonna get that. You're gonna get that. It makes you feel alive. Anyways, I'm on day 2 of my fast. I want to talk about that. I took a nap before I made this video, or I got up because I was tired from the gym. Physically tired, but now my tum-tum's trying to get a little hungry, so I decided to drink some water. But surprisingly, because it was clean and jerk. So clean and jerk is where you take the bar from the ground, get it to your shoulders, and then you go overhead with it. And I did 145 pounds, which is pretty dope for the 10-minute EMOM. Excuse me. And you have a squat clean it. Excuse me again. Wow, you're very carbonated, little guy. Little porcupine. Oh, what was I saying? Derailed me with your pot stickers. Your strawberry basil pot stickers. Oh yeah, the clean and jerk. Because back when I was training for CrossFit, y'all, or really in shape, man, my 1 rep max clean and jerk, doing that movement, is 230 pounds. 220, but my max clean is 230. Like, y'all, I picked a weight up from the ground. I'm going to demonstrate before we get into our Alcoholics Anonymous. I'm going to demonstrate, because a clean, so you go down from the ground, you pick it up, you get it to your shoulders, and you come up like that, and you push it overhead, blah, 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 right? But from this movement here, from going to here and picking it up, 230 pounds, I did that. That's quite impressive. I have no idea how. Where there's a will, there's a way, because I wasn't much bigger than I am now. But this morning, I just worked out 145 pounds for the EMOM, and I kind of like, because I'm aware that I'm fasting, right? And going into that, like, in like perceived depraved state, you know? So I like to start the bar. I just put 145 pounds on the bar when I was warming up, and I didn't try it once because I was like, I'm going to do all 10 of these when I first get to the workout, and we're just going to deal with it then. It makes the whole thing more challenging, right? Because you're kind of like, I make myself, I'm aware of the risks, right, of getting physically hurt, but I'm aware enough to understand my body and know how I move and my thresholds. So, you know, sometimes I go on whimsies, if that wasn't obvious. Okay, so for the 12 steps, okay, when I first came in there, first off, super cool framework. I had no idea. The only thing I knew about AA was that, like in the movies when they say, hi, I'm like Sharon and I'm an alcoholic. And then everyone goes, hi Sharon, right? That's a thing. They actually do that. And I was like, this is cool. And when I first went in there, right, there's people from all walks of life. I actually got invited. I'm probably going to attend for Christmas. They're having a Christmas meal, and they told me about it. And I was like, oh, I would love to come. Like, yeah, sure. This place has been opened for a long time. I think like a very, very long time. I think it was like 60s or 70s. I forgot what they're called, the Club 12. And I was confused because like I didn't realize there was 12 steps. Oops, I did the picture. I didn't realize there was 12 steps until someone in the comments commented, and I was just like, oh, okay, well why 12? That's so random, right? You don't have 12 fingers. Which by the way, I watched a really fun whimsy video earlier on how like the Babylonians started with like a base 60 number, then we went to base 10. Really cool stuff. Anyway, digressed into mathematics. But I was like, where did the 12 come from, right? It didn't just pop out of thin air. Where's the 12 coming from? Why 12? Does it relate to the disciples? Like that's the only type of 12 that's kind of stable because mathematics and nature doesn't really utilize 12 very much as far as its diversity and stuff like that. But 12 was very spiritually and religiously significant, right? Because of Jesus. And so they actually had 3 sets of 12 things. They have the 12 steps. I sent myself 3 photos. The 12 steps, the 12 concepts of world service, and the 12 traditions. So 3 sets of 12, right? So I actually don't understand where the 12 came from. Why 12? But I'm assuming because of when I went there, guys, it was just like attending a church service. It is just like an organized religion. It's a non-denominational religion, if you want to classify that. Because on the 12 steps, right? And if you look at it, they even, so in the meeting, sorry, apologies. When I first started the meeting, right? The service, the people at the front, they dimmed all the lights. So it kind of became like more like a hallowed, sanctified ground kind of thing. They even had offering bins that we passed around to donate money, or they had QR codes. Okay, same as like church services I've been to previously. What else did they do? They started the meeting. They started the meeting with like an open. They read scripture. They read stuff out of a book that's literally called the Big Book. It's as thick as a Bible. I thought people were just carrying their Bibles with them. No, there's an actual book for this Alcoholics Anonymous, and it's called the book, the Big Book. And it's just like their religious text. They read out of it. And then it kind of turned into kind of like the LDS vibe where it's like open sharing, but instead of going up into the front and getting behind the pew or giving your testimony, you bear your testimony in your seat. And I want to read this book. I was like, wait, there's an actual, this is like not I thought they were, again, carrying around religious texts. No, they were just carrying around a book defined as the Big Book. And so, I mean, at least they're being honest, being like, yeah, at least they're calling it a book. Sometimes people, when they talk about religious texts and stuff, they forget it's a book. Like, first and foremost, it's a book, right? So these people, it was really cool actually, because this one man, he had his, and it looked like an old tattered Bible. Like, it was like the seams were all completely ripped up. That thing was used through and through. And then another person next to him, like, showed their book and like talked about how like inspiring it was, and like reading it and how it helped him through it, and the community helped him through it, and these meetings and stuff. Super inspiring. And then, okay, So they started off the meeting that way. And they start out by saying, what's it called? They started it with some like book thingy, a reading out of the book, a phrase. And then someone else in the audience read a part of it, and then someone else in the audience read another page from another part, and then they officially started the meeting, and someone gave their testimony. And then it was like open forum, and then everyone could tell their testimony. Oh, before we started that though, they made an announcement. It was like the announcement time. It's like, is there anyone here that is a first timer or would like to? And I was like, I raised my hand. I was like, me, this is my first meeting. Like, hi, everyone. And there was a couple new people there, so that was cool. And then they asked, well, does anyone want, guys, I got like, right, this is like a prayer card. I got a token. It's a 24-hour pledge, and they have a thing in it, and it has like a little saying on the back too, right? They're like, does anyone want a 24? Because the only rule, guys, the only rule to show up is you have to desire to quit drinking. Like, it doesn't even specify what you want to quit drinking. It just says to have a desire to stop drinking. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that seems easy enough, right? Well, kind of, right? Because I have some liquids here. But giving up alcohol, yeah. So I wanted to do that to show I'm putting forth effort, right? And so I got this, when they said, does anyone want a 24-hour coin? And I was like, I do, like, yeah. And so I found out, and then other people around the room, there's people there that were like sober for 5 years. One guy just hit 6 months, and he shared his testimony, and you can there's different coins. And so the next coin is 30 days. And so I'm going back every Monday for the meeting. It's 8:15 at night, which is kind of late and kind of far, but I want to get my 30-day coin. So I'm going to put forth effort, to demonstrate like what I earned. Cause that takes effort. And then maybe by that point, maybe I'll like, it'd be kind of cool to like make it to a year, or something like that. Right. Or whatnot. But anyways, I would assume the purpose of this is to overcome addiction, right? And alcoholism. And it's kind of challenging to overcome addiction when my cognition isn't in a state of, like, I practice discernment very, very clearly, if anyone couldn't tell. So, but I wanted to fully understand and learn the full depths of, addiction and like these things and what they do to people, right? Like, go into the environment and physically experience it for myself to learn more, right? This is only going to help me learn more about myself and understand myself to a greater depth. So I love it. No, DJ Roomba. This is not the time to clean. Okay. So at the meeting though, so I'm going to go at least for 30 days, right? I'm getting a little bit more selective with my memberships, y'all, because it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of work and commitment to like arrive to these meetings, to like show up, to like do all these things, right? I'm already like pursuing LDS membership. That's already a lot. I have like Costco memberships. I got 2 credit card memberships. I got a lot. I got electric bill memberships, right? I got memberships to insurance companies. Right? My schedule's getting kind of full here. So I'm starting to be a little bit more selective about what memberships I maintain for a long period of time, because I only got so much linear time in a day, guys. I only got so much linear time in a day. Anyways, it's just like a service, right? And it was super cool to hear people sharing their stories and encouraging one another, because there was someone brand new there. And she had like a complete breakdown. She completely lost and scared, like very lost and scared, seeking understanding. She even said, like, I just don't understand why I'm struggling with this, why I can't get out of this. Like, I'm on so many different antidepressant medications from my doctors and it's not helping me. And her voice was like trembling. And after that, though, it was super inspiring because multiple people, I guess they have sponsors too. So, oh wait, hold on, field trip. They have sponsors. Oh, I went into my kitchen and something smelled really savory. I have no idea what it was. Y'all, someone in the comments talked about how your senses and your sense of taste and smell increase when you don't drink. cut out food, y'all. Your sense of taste and smell rapidly, exponentially kick in to higher sensitivity gears. Let's just say that. But look, I got like a newcomer card, and they gave me the list of sponsors that are on there. So this reminded me, it's kind of like a deacon or something. You know, like in the church where they have people that are helping you, like the missionaries kind of thing. These are the people that are supposed to be there, like to help you if you're struggling. You can call them any time of day. And when that female that was brand new shared her story, shared her testimony. Oh, and it's actually really cool because when you first all introduce yourself, everyone was like, "Hi, I'm so and so, and I'm an alcoholic." Like you say alcoholic, and it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun to say that like proudly, being like, "Yeah, dude, like I'm an alcoholic. Like hello, like welcome, like I'm in a safe space to like express myself. Like why is everyone so sad? Like we're supposed to be happy, you know?" But it was really cool because after she gave her testimony, right, immediately 3 or 4 people shared their testimonies, and they talked about like their drug abuse, their PTSD, like time in the military, wanting to kill themselves. One of them, actually, one female, she was going through drug and alcohol, what she defined as alcohol abuse, drug and alcohol abuse. She ended up like going to a bar after being clean for like 6 months or something. As she was walking out of the bar, a drunk driver hit her, killed her 2 friends, and paralyzed her. And I was like, wow, that sucks. That's a unique opportunity that you are given there. But anyways, these people all share their stories to be like, you're not alone. And because every single one of them made sure to say during their thing, hey, the one thing about like this organization and this group or whatever, or this place, is that you recognize that you are not alone. And that's what they all shared with her to make her feel, because I mean, she was in a very, very scared and fragile state. Very, very scared and fragile state. And actually what I loved about this place, we're going to get into the nuances of how, right? Because Gödel's theorem gets invoked here too, right? When people are unaware of the system itself and how to innovate and become more efficient and you know, achieve the outcomes they desire, it's because they can't perceive themselves. And Alcoholics Anonymous is no different, right? If you look at their outcomes, guys, we'll get into that. We'll get into that. But what was I saying about that? It was so cool though, because so many people shared, like this one guy, it was really cool because one person shared, I forget how long sober he was, but he shared that like his wife isn't kicking him out of the house anymore. His kids are talking to him again. And I was just like, dude, that's extraordinary, man. It was so cool to hear stuff like that. And this one woman talked about how like she spent time in jail, and when she was in jail and incarcerated, when she came out, she was just like recognized that she was like stuck in this like addiction and she couldn't escape it, and so she wanted to do something with her life, and that was the motivating change to when she found Alcoholics Anonymous. And it was so cool. And when you get your coins, you get a hug, so that was fun too. But I want to talk about the 12 steps because it was very obvious. Everyone in the room, it was cool actually. Everyone in the room, some people didn't talk at all, some people did. Everyone in the room though, they were open about what was occurring on the inside. They felt no shame, no grief, no judgment to express openly what they experienced and what they feel. And every single one of them, the very consistent thing across all of them was that they were seeking understanding. Because they were trying to understand something that occurred in their life, and the only way that they thought about understanding, or they pursued understanding, is through more contrast, right? The human mind, guys, is very, very, very curious by nature, innately, and it seeks out different learning opportunities. It purposely seeks out understanding, right? That's what everyone does, even like in any form, like Catholicism, LDS, right? Excuse me, everyone's just seeking a greater level of understanding. And so the very common theme there though is that all those people, you can tell they're really, really struggling to understand understand basic cognitive things that have occurred, kind of thing, if that makes sense, right? Because if you look at it, guys, if you look at the outcomes, right, this program's great. It helps a ton of people. I understand that, right? I love that it exists. There is a beautiful community there. I'm going to attend Christmas, like lunch there with them. I'm going to attend the meetings. That's where I met the homeless guy. Well, the philosopher, he's not homeless. He lives in a group of trees behind the strip mall where the meeting was at, by like this ditch. And I'm gonna go hang out with him tonight. I'm gonna go spend the night because I wanted to do that. And it's like, you know, it'll be fun. I asked him if I can come spend the night, and he was just like, tonight? Because that was last night when I met him. And I was like, I thought about it for a second, but I was like, oh, I don't even have like a piece of cardboard, man. And I was like, no, I'll come back tomorrow night. He didn't even have a phone. He was like straight up like, he was going real old school philosopher. Anyways, actually, like, he suffered a stroke, and so he kind of was like maimed a little bit, or like limped or walked slowly, like very slowly, but he could walk. And I drove him to a gas station because he asked me to drive him to a gas station. And I was like, yeah, sure, man. And we ended up getting chatting, right? And he was like, oh, can you get me a hot dog? I'm not allowed in here. And I was like, why aren't you allowed in here? And he's like, because the lady, I guess some lady, he can't even get into I don't know what he did or what occurred, because he couldn't even get into the gas station we went to, and he's banned from the Alcoholics and the Club 12 for a year. And I was like, oh, that sounds kind of rough, dude. It sounds like you got misunderstood a lot, man. Because he was really nice to me, but then he was like, can you go get me a hot dog? I can't go in there. And I'm like, why can't you go in there? And she's like, because the lady's not nice. And I'm like, okay, well, if you want it, you're gonna have to move get your ass up. I ain't going to go buy you stuff and have you sit here. Like, nah, you can still move. Like, I saw you walking, you climbed into my car kind of slow, but you still climbed in it. And so I said, I'm not in a hurry. Like, if you want a hot dog, you're going to walk in there with me. You know? I was like, that's not how this works. And he like laughed, and he's like, all right, you know? And he hobbled himself in there. We got rejected from the store, like he said, like halfway through the store. So we had to hobble back. The lady was like, he's not welcome in here. Get out of here. Like, he's not, no. And I was like, well, he's with me. We're just buying something. And she was like, no, he's not welcome in here. He can't come in here. Like, get out of the store. And I was like, wow. And I was just like so shocked by it. I was like, what is going on? Like, how is that helping anything? You know, it was interesting. So I just told her Merry Christmas, and we left. And we went to a different gas station. Anyways, the 12 steps though. Okay. It starts out, this is the very first step, okay? And we're gonna talk about why. So if anyone's ever been associated with Alcoholics Anonymous and you look at their longitudinal data, they've been around for a hot minute, guys. Look at their outcomes, look at their data. You will see that they have a high remission rate. They don't actually have a high success rate. Like, these people, none of these people can ever be around any sort of substance. It's like they literally avoid certain things in life because they're allergic to it. They're so afraid of it, and they're so broken down by it, because the program innately starts out by making you recognize that you are worthless. That's the number one thing you have to recognize, is you are worthless and invaluable. That's how it starts. You are imperfect, you suck, and you need to recognize that you suck and you're worthless and invaluable, and like, that's why no one loves you, and that's why you're in this situation, because you just suck. You can't do it. Like, don't try to believe anything else. You can't do it. And so that mindset, guys, that's their program. If you look through everything, I will read them out to you, the 12 steps, and you look at the outcomes of people that graduate from the program or participate in that program. What type of demographic are they? What are the rates of remission or recurrence? Wait, remission is supposed to be good. I think recurrence is supposed to be bad. What's the rate of recurrence? If they are in remission, are they able to even be around an environment where that is present? And if not, why? Because does that signal they're out of a state of addiction? Have they overcome any sort of addiction if they literally remove themselves from the physical environment? No, that's another way of managing addiction, right? You didn't break any cycle. Like, you're still in addiction, buddy, if you can't even be around a behavior and demonstrate discernment, okay? Nothing, the wheel is continuing on. So if you look at that, and even the people that are sober, right, the stories they tell and their quality of life, guys, they're hanging on by a thread. They don't go on normally, right? The success stories and the huge turnarounds and the huge, like, beautiful story arcs, the underdog stories, you don't necessarily hear about them when people come out of Alcoholics Anonymous or these addiction programs, because nothing fundamentally changed. They're still in a state seeking healing and understanding. Look at the outcomes. I'm not making it up, guys. Just look at the data of people that come out of these programs. Look at the things they accomplish in their lives. Look at the types of relationships they maintain or have with people. Look at the level of value and worth they feel in themselves. Look at their rates of, even like if they go into, we talked about it already, right? Why is that? Why is that, right? It's a beautiful framework. It's a beautiful framework that provides people solace and comfort. Everyone learns in different ways, right? I understand that. But they don't recognize that they're keeping people in a state of addiction by how they're approaching addiction. Because guys, when you trade one addiction for another addiction, you haven't resolved addiction at all. You know what I'm saying? So, and you can tell when someone's in like that sort of physiological dissonance or that state of addiction, because even if they come around to those things, they have a physiological response, right? What the lack of, it's not a lack of control, guys. It's a lack of understanding, right? They don't understand why they're even defined as worthless or powerless or like in a state of addiction. They are taught that they will never, they're taught in this program that you will never escape addiction. It is something that you just have to cope with and live with. And they wonder why their recurrence rates are so high, you know? Anywho, the first step, the program starts with, we admitted we were powerless over alcohol, that our lives had become unmanageable. I like that, okay? I like that. So I understand what they're trying to do. They're trying to show acknowledgement, right? Because the first step in discernment, the first step in shifting a cognition from addiction is acknowledgement, being aware. It's not, right? To say that you admitted that you're powerless over alcohol, that is reiterating and reinforcing to yourself that you are worthless and you are not good enough. This thing has more control and discernment over you than you have discernment over yourself, right? That completely strips away any sort of autonomy or authority about enabling someone to inspire them to be like, you can do this, right? A different way you could phrase that is say, we admitted we were learning through alcohol and our lives became a little unbalanced because we sought learning opportunities through that specific modality. Okay? Does that sound a little better than saying we were powerless over alcohol? Do we see a shift in how we still keep the autonomy and the worth and value of the human being that is experiencing those things without dehumanizing them or the program itself? Okay. Then the step 2, and I understand, right? And this again, guys, this is a product of a stagnant program, a stagnant interpretation and meaning, a structure that the human cognition has surpassed. This was made back in the height and the peak of like the sinner days and like you're going to hell type thing, the Bible thumping type revelation vibes. When was this? Everyone can look it up when Alcoholics Anonymous was made and the type of spiritual awakening or religious renaissance that occurred during that time. Okay, so the type of framework that people did back then, right, is again teaching like the good versus bad, like the sin and shame aspect, right? It works really well, like that fear-driven behavior and then trying to invoke emotional sin and shame to make a sense of belonging. That works up until it doesn't. And if anyone isn't aware, we've already crossed that threshold to where it doesn't work. People don't like that. People don't like constantly being told you're not good enough and you suck. Okay. And the only reason that language is utilized, because again, that's the basis of the axioms that the mind works at. And it's like, okay, well, I mean, this is what occurs when you're not aware of your own awareness, right? This is the ultimate example of being stuck in Gödel's theorem, if you want to relate it to mathematics. So then the second one says, came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. I'm assuming that's hinting at God. Cool. No problems with that, right? But then when you say to restore us to sanity, again, you're dehumanizing the person. Came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. That makes it sound like, dude, the first step is admitting that you can't do anything by yourself. You suck. The only reason you actually exist and even are aware is because of something greater than you to help you restore you to a state of sanity. So like previous to this, right, you're in a state of delusion and psychosis, but now, right, once you come to the conclusion that there's something, a power, God is greater than you, then you'll stop acting like a psychotic in a state of psychosis or sanity, right? Which, that's arguable too, because that gets misunderstood a lot, right? Again, this is a product of that time and age. You got to think about when this program was created, when this framework, when this underlying structure was created. But now can you perceive about perhaps why the framework isn't as steady, right? This would be a perfect example of a framework made from sand and not stone, even though arguably, right, both can be considered sand nor stone depending on how you look at it, right? Sand is just tiny rocks. Anyways, I digress. But step 3, made a decision. So now you're starting to see, right? Can you see the religious parables coming in, right? The underlying framework. This is a religion. They don't call it a religion on paper because they avoid legal stuff. But this was founded, this is a religion. This was like a failed attempt at trying to create like a revival to Jesus and God, and it didn't quite work out, right? It's stalling out, and we can see the effects of it now because we have enough longitudinal data to demonstrate, hey, how effective is this program at actually having desired outcomes where people are achieving identical results as people that never suffered this. There's a very large discrepancy. I wonder why. Because it's most certainly not because of the teachings, right? The framework that it operates under. Anywho, when it goes into the other steps, right, made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood him, made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves, admitted to God, to ourselves, and to other human beings the exact nature of our wrongs. We're entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. Okay, apparently everyone keeps skipping step 6 because no one's recovered from addiction if this program still exists, right? Humbly asked him to remove our shortcomings, made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all, right? You don't make amends, number 8, you don't make amends by just going up to saying sorry to someone and say, I did you dirty, right? You go up, because then that leaves you with resentment. That's just you accepting guilt and shame without even understanding it and utilizing it, right? Understand, when you have reached true understanding, guilt and shame and anger and grief and all these things, they don't apply to you anymore because they don't make sense. So if you're going to apologize for something and you harm someone, you apologize to them, say, hey, at that time in my life, I was going through a serious learning growth of trying to understand myself better. I was very confused. I was trying to figure things out and navigate my ignorance. And in the process, you were involved in my learning opportunities. And again, I'm a very slow learner, right? Learning's challenging. And unfortunately, when we were in that moment together or experienced that memory together, I was in a state of profound learning and trying to overcome my ignorance. And now I've reached that state of understanding. So I wanted to reach back to you and apologize for how challenging I made your life as I tried to pursue learning and understanding myself to a greater level. Okay? Does everyone see a difference, how that's different than someone being like, hey, I'm so sorry for harming you and doing ill will, and I accept all shame and judgment. I was wrong. Because the person is aware that dissidence arises. The person didn't act out of ill will. How many times, right? How many kids out there can say, my parent gave me childhood trauma because of this, because they did this, because of that. But then if you go and talk to that parent, they're going to be like, that's the best I could do at the time, right? It's just so easy to do this blame game left and right, right? Because it's like, then if you recognize in yourself, it's like, wait, I was just doing the best I can and I had no ill intention, but now I'm being attacked and told that I'm like harming someone and I was wrong and I was like blah blah blah. Okay, well, screw you then. The easiest thing to do is just apologize and accept blame for something that I clearly didn't do. What does that do to the individual? It creates dissonance because they don't understand how to solve the miscommunication that was occurring with another human being. Okay? Language is important. Language demonstrates how you articulate and what you think. It demonstrates your fundamental axioms of how you operate and carry and navigate yourself through the world. Anyways, may direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. That's setting yourself up for failure, right? That's defining an outcome before the outcome has even occurred, before action has even been put forth, right? Make direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would ignore them or others, or injure them or others. How are you going to be aware of that? How do you know that? You don't. Because then it leads to doubting yourself. Again, you're already in a state of lack of worthiness, lack of value. And then it's saying, do this, except don't do it in these cases. It's like, well, how am I supposed to know when to not do it? How do I know if it's going to injure someone or not? Okay, I'm just going to keep living this fear and shame because I'm too afraid to approach people and make amends, because when I try to do it, I get yelled at, I get kicked out of places, right? Like that homeless guy. He got rejected I was like, what occurred? And the way he was saying it, I guess everyone communicates in very nuanced ways. And for whatever reason, how he was communicating himself, people misunderstood him, and then they came out and attacked him and did something, and obviously that gets him flustered because he had no other way to communicate. So what does he do? He expresses his frustration and irritation in probably more explicative and more inspired words, and then that made people angry, and that escalated the misunderstanding and ended up isolating him out, right? Like, how do you even get kicked out? Like, he got kicked out of Alcoholics Anonymous, the club place. He's not even allowed to enter there to hang out with anyone. And he used to say he used to hang out sometimes all day and like spend days with people and meeting new people and writing his lyrics and stuff. Something happened. I don't know what it was, but like, how worthless do you think he feels that he got rejected? He's so worthless that even people that are labeled as addicts won't even accept him. That's rough, man. That's rough. And then it ends in step 12. Having a spiritual awakening as the result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to alcoholics and practice these principles in all our affairs. It's like, well, if you're looking at like, right, these people that are in these programs, cool, extraordinary, exciting. Like it's doing remarkable things for their life, right? I am going back to it because I enjoy it. I recognize, I want to acknowledge the effort of what they are doing and what they are accomplishing and helping other people out, right? They are doing extraordinary things for humanity and these beautiful ripples. However, they don't recognize that they've bottlenecked themselves and no one's ever actually achieving the desired outcomes of what they perceive and they desire for their own lives. This program is enabling people, innately keeping them under the thresholds of accomplishing their full potential. And it's just like, it's jarring. It's very jarring. And hopefully I've given enough examples of that. Yes, is it very beneficial? Do I think it should go away? Absolutely not. It's serving a beautiful purpose. It's helping people provide a source of solace and comfort. It's helping get some sort of footing, some sort of foundation where they can continue to keep putting forth more effort to what they can handle at the time in their lives. And right now, like I would encourage people to look this up. Look at people that are in these types of programs that stay in it, right? They go to it as their source of solace and comfort. And if they leave it, right, that is their bedrock. That is their foundation. Without it, they slip, right? And even with it, look at how their lives are. There's a very stark, you can do a statistical analysis and you can see a very stark difference on measurable outcomes on the quality and the difference and the utility of the functionality that they exist at on a day-to-day basis compared to someone that functionality exists from a state where they are inspired and don't feel like they're a sense of worthless and lack of value. The wording matters. The 12 steps innately re-emphasizes and re-solidifies into the person's mind that you will never escape from your addiction because you are worthless. Anywho, you can argue it all day, but I mean, look at the outcomes. You can't argue outcomes. That's all I'm going to say. It's just simple observations, guys. I didn't create the rules. I'm just observing them. But again, so I want to share it because I people were sharing their stories and stuff. Kind of want to get a snack because I'm just like getting all excited for my snack or getting hungry talking about this. But what was I going to say? My story. Because anyone could share, right? And at first I tried to like raise my hand because I didn't want to interrupt anyone, but everyone was just going off. And I was like, fine. So like after like, I don't know, like there was like 8 or 9 people that went. And there was all the same story vibes. They were all unique and beautiful, but there was no sense of hope. There was no sense of hope in there, man, y'all, because it's just like, none of them talked about how they escaped addiction. They all talked about how they're still in it, even if they've been sober for 5-6 years. Like the things they said and the stories they shared about like the things they've overcome and stuff like that. And like, yeah, you've overcome stuff, but like, what have you done with it? What have you done with this beautiful accomplishments that you've achieved in your life? Like all you're doing is staying in the addiction cycle. by the behaviors that you keep demonstrating, and your only message is we can all be addicted together because then at least we're not alone. Like, anyways, so I decided to share a story because I was like, man, I want to be here to further understand what addiction means, right? What is it? What is it? It's not just a word. It's not just act. It's not just observations. It comes from somewhere. It has an origin. And so I decided to share my story. I was like, hi, Sharon, I'm an alcoholic. And they're like, Sharon. And there's another Sharon there. That was kind of cool. She was a little bit older. She was a sponsor. Or maybe her name was Shannon. I could have swore they said Sharon. That looks like I don't know. I said, well, I'm new to the addiction thing, and like I want the first step is acknowledgement of it, so that's why I'm here. I'm so excited. You guys have inspired me. I love what you got. Like, I feel so supported and safe here, so I thank you guys for making this environment. But I wanted to share my alcohol stories because for when my addiction started, because the addiction always starts with the first sip, right? So I wanted to think back when I had my first sip of alcohol, and that was in high school. And so in high school, guys, I was trying to get into all the cool stuff, right? That's when I got into alcohol. So first I tried beer, but I got handed a warm beer, and it was gross, y'all. I didn't touch beer for like 5 years. It was gross, but I was determined. I was determined to get into it. And so next I tried wine. And my parents had actually a wine bottle that they kept. They had, like, my parents had like 3 or 4 bottles of wine that they collected. That, like, my parents didn't even drink wine. I think my dad just thought it was cool and like it was a fancy bougie thing to do, so he wanted a couple like bottles of wine, similar to how I have this, right? Like, bro, I haven't, like, all this wine probably went bad by now because I haven't drank it. Like, I don't want to drink it. Because I don't know, it's to me, I've solidified in my mind it's a decoration and it's not meant to be drunk, you know? So I don't perceive it as like, I've never even thought about drinking any of those, if that makes sense, right? Although it would make it makes for a good stash just in case, I don't know, the water doesn't go potable or something. I don't know. Electricity goes out. I got a lot of liquid calories on the wall, that's for sure. Oh yeah, so I told my story, and so I said, and then I tried wine, and like, but we struggled to get the cork off. We were digging it out with a knife. And we didn't even finish that. We were taking shots of it because it was so disgusting. It was like a Barolo or Amarone, y'all. Like, it was something dry and disgusting. Like, for a first sip of wine, it was just that pit. It was equivalent to drinking a warm beer, a warm Coors Light, man. If you wanna prevent addiction or turn off people to having any sort of desire to even explore it, y'all, make it nasty. Give them a warm Guinness. Like, heat it up, man. Heat it up and say, no, alcohol is supposed to be served warm. Here you go. And they're going to be like, you guys like this? I'm like, yeah, it's real good, right? A kid will be like, oh, no. Why? But then you'd have to be stuck explaining why you continue to drink it then, right? And then you'd have to be stuck with trying to provide understanding when perhaps you can't even explain it yourself. So then you're caught in a pigeon. So it's so much easier to just be like, don't do it. It's evil and addictive, and you'll be shamed and your life will be ruined. That's an easier explanation than actually trying to teach understanding and discernment, right? Anyways, but then I was like, so I didn't like those because it was gross. So finally, guys, I found my source of addiction, vodka. And everyone like kind of giggled a little bit because I was like, guys, like, vodka mixes with everything. I remember one time I was so embarrassed or scared to get caught because I was a teenager, right? That I chugged mustard to try to hide the smell on my breath. So that's my origin story of alcohol addiction. So thank you guys for letting me share. and that was it. That was my story. Which again, I guess, I mean, I don't know what else I was supposed to tell. Like, everyone was telling alcohol stories. And so I was like, okay, well, I'm going to tell my origin, right? How else can the addiction start if not at the origin? So I shared the stories when I tried to get into alcohol. And guys, hello, I was clearly devoted to experiencing addiction and pursuing that because I tried 3 times until I finally found something that was manageable for me to continue drinking. It's tough, y'all. It's tough. Oh, I'm out of drink. Speaking of that, right? So, that's what I did for that, shared for my story. So that was fun. People enjoyed that, they seemed like, because I wanted to share that because, one, I wanted to demonstrate, because I'm aware of how I tell stories, y'all. I'm aware of how animated, right? It's like you see color for the first time when you hear a story from me and you're just like, oh, the world looks kind of dull and less vibrant after I, like, look around, right? And guys, I'm giving you like hour-long sections or maybe 2 hours tops of my day. Y'all, imagine what I do with the rest of the time, right? It's very whimsical and magical. It's extraordinary. So, I told that story to try to help people to be like, this is something to be proud of. This is something to be proud of accomplishing and being overcome what is defined as addiction and this state of hopelessness and despair. Like, you guys are doing extraordinary things here. And like, for me to be there, I wanted to be like, yeah, like, it's possible to come over. Like, you can talk about these experiences and not embody them again because you fully understand them and you've integrated them. They're no longer holding chains back on you, right? The only tears that you should be crying are tears of reverence and joy, man. And I would argue every time someone does cry, it is expressing reverence and joy. I describe it as love, like, right? That's like, I love out of my eyeballs so much because I can't even contain it anymore. You cry tears, guys. You're not crying blood. You're not crying pee and urine, right? You're crying tears, crying that saline. Water, the gift of life. Oh shoot, what was I gonna say? No, I think that was it. But yeah, but I'm going to stick with it for at least 30 days, or maybe I'll go further. Depends on how cool the coin is, right? Because I want to show, right? You have to earn this. You can't just get this from anyone, right? Unless you get it gifted to you, I guess. Because some people gift their coins, or they gift their tokens to people to demonstrate acknowledgement for their support in their journey type thing. So that's really cool too. So I have more things to gift to other people as a source of encouragement if I have them, and I physically have tangible goods and proof that I went through it too, right? And also being there also, right? Because I wanted to demonstrate sharing a story, right? Sharing that, hey, it's possible. Because right now, some of these people may not believe or even perceive that it's possible to even overcome a state of addiction, right? Some people like, it's unfathomable, just like the sub 4-minute mile. That's an impossible thing to do until someone proves it can be done. So that's what I'm basically trying to do, right? Actions speak louder than words. So words are cheap, right? Anyone can speak words, but when something different pops up and sparks curiosity and has been like, wait, that's possible, that's when real cool stuff starts happening. So we're doing that. Oh, also, hold on. Speaking of impossible, actually, because I did give up drinking, but technically, right, and I gave up drugs too, but shoot, what did I do with my, what did I do with this? Oh, I put it in here. Field trip. Well, since I'm here, I want to drink a drink. I'll drink this one. Oh, okay. So I might because guys, when I went to the gas station with Tyrone, look what I found. Has anyone ever seen these? I was like, bro, these look good. And I bought these when I was still debating whether I wanted to fast or not last night. But then after going to the I decided I wanted to go to the Catholic, after I went to the grotto. I chose to, because I didn't eat my candy right away because I was debating fasting, and I didn't eat my candy right away. Oh, I got this. I got Liquid Death. It's a flavored water. Look at that. Squeezed to death. How fun is this, right? Facing fears of death, overcoming, murdering my thirst. Yeah, murdering my hunger, murdering all sorts of things. We're slaying. In a one-horse open field. You know? Okay. So I bought this because, dude, look how good that looks. It's combining Oreos and Reese's. Like, look at that. Ugh. It looks so good, so I bought it. But then after the grotto, right, and I didn't eat my candy when I even went to the grotto because I was, like, debating fasting, so that idea popped into my head. Oh, that's good. It's got a little hint of orange in it, but it's not too orangey. Oh, yeah, orange, tangerine, and blood orange. Oh, it's a little triple threat. Oh, that's good. I love it. Okay. But I thought about it, right? Because this is like epic temptation. All these things are extraordinary temptation. But to up the ante, y'all, I kind of want to smoke and get high. So I can really because when you get the munchies, right, to really throw me into it, right? If I'm gonna challenge the devil on fasting, yo, I wanna up it, right? I wanna put myself into a situation where it's really hard to overcome that cognitive shift to get over it and see if I can show discernment, right? Switch it up a bit. Do you know how hard that would be, y'all? If anyone's ever been in an altered state of consciousness due to some Mary Jane, or at least some fake Mary Jane, you get hungry sometimes, and it just tastes like, because the sensation of drinking food or experiencing like physical tastes and stuff is just heightened. It's just so much more profound. You get to have more existential experiences on it. It's just so great. It's so much fun. But so I might do that. I'm debating it, guys. So give me some comments on it. I'm unsure. But going camping tonight, right? And I decided, I was debating whether I was going to bring Yeti or not. I decided her butt is coming with me because she needs to learn about how great her life is, right? She's spoiled. She's spoiled as a child, and she needs to be aware of that. So what better way to make her aware than to take her camping behind a strip mall next to some dumpsters in a little patch of woods, you know, with Tyrone. It'd be fun. And plus, I've never experienced it. So, I got him some stuff. So I'm giving him this suitcase, which is actually my fiance's. So thanks, Emily. She left this. But I think she left it because it's broken, or I don't know, this zipper's kind of broken here. But I figured, because I discovered it in my closet here, but I figured he could use it to like transport his stuff, you know? Because I didn't see him having a thing to carry his stuff in. Oh, and also, right, because he's like, will you buy me a cigarette? And I was like, yeah, I'll buy you whatever. I'm here to hang out with you for a second, dude. I just want to hear your life stories and chat. I'm just coming to chill. And I loved it because he said to me too, and the reason I also trusted him too, and I was aware, he was a very, very religious man. He talks about God a lot, and he talks about how he's like, he said, he's like, you look like an angel. And I was like, oh, thank you. That's such a compliment. And he was like, I talk to God all the time. Like, I commune with God. The angels will tell me things. And I'm just like, dude, that's extraordinary. You have a gift and a talent. And then he talked about even like sometimes like bad, like Satan and the devil tries to tempt him and stuff. And he understands, cause he even talked about, he's like, I've been forged through the fire. Like, and this man, very well spoken, very cognitively astute. And even like the words and how he articulated himself, I was just like, you're a very intelligent, you're a very wise man. You're like ancient wisdom. And he had a little bit of a gray beard and he was playing with it too. And then he even told me about his rap. He started doing a rap when he bought the cigarettes though. He was about, cause I dropped him off back where he wanted to be dropped off at his home. And he wanted to hang out with me because he was like, because I was like, I'm going to go, man. I said that I was going to go like 2 or 3 times. And he's like, do you have to? Like, this has been real. It was just he's like, it was a miracle meeting you, man. Like, I'm just really thankful for this, like, for this chance to like talk with you kind of thing. It was cool. But I was like, don't worry, I'm going to be back tomorrow night. Don't worry. But he was trying to smoke a cigarette. He was pulling out a cigarette in my car. And I was like, get your ass out. You're not smoking in my car. And he was like, okay, right? He was going to try it, right? And I was like, Or like when he wanted me to get him something or like buy him the stuff. And I was like, if you want me to buy you something, you're going to walk your butt into the store with me. That's not how that works. You're not sitting here. Get out of the car. Let's go. And so we had a good time. But so I'm going to give him this. It's one of like the journals. I had a couple that I bought, as extra when I was like really into writing and stuff. But y'all, I can't write fast enough anymore. It hurts my hand. But excuse me, just in case he wants to write some of his lyrics down and stuff, right? Because guys, when someone raps from the soul or expresses himself like that off of lived experience, it hits different. It comes from a place that is so authentic and genuine. You can't even fake it. That is like pure flow state. And he was extraordinary with it. It was so cool. And hearing him talk. And so I said to Tyrone from Sharon, I said, Merry Christmas. Thank you for allowing me to spend a moment in time with you and teaching me more than I could have ever imagined. Because I said, I was like, hey, I want to learn from you because you're a really great teacher in all the things that you're sharing. And I was like, I want to be your grasshopper. You're like my sensei. Take me in, sensei. And so he said I could come spend the night with him. So I said, yes. And so I'm giving him my Hotel Emma pen, the square pen, right, in honor of Catholicism too. Like, and I love the Hotel Emma pens. And I also got him a pencil just in case he wanted to erase stuff or I don't know, draw or I don't know what. And then I got him a little, cause I got this from when I flew before I love Qatar Airways or Etihad Airways. Oh, they're so nice. But I got him a toothbrush, and I got him some toothpaste, and just a pair of socks and some ear plugs are in there. So I figured that'd be kind of nice, like useful things, y'all. Because like I'm not gonna give him any money, right? I give them functional things, right? Because then he has the choice. Instead of just begging and asking for money, right? He can write stuff down. He can try to sell it. He can try to sell this. He can try to sell this. And he can try to sell this, right? I'm giving him stuff that not only helps him have more of like a creature comforts, I guess, but also enables him to have goods and services where he has to practice and start to do like bartering skills, trading skills, utilize like creativity, right? Instead of just being handed money and being left to show discernment when obviously he's lacking discernment if he's in that situation, right? Or a certain level of it that he's desiring. So I'm giving him a towel because I don't know if he has one or not. And also could like double as a blanket or things to sleep under. And then I'm going to gift him this pillow. So I got a pillow. And this is actually my original set of sheets that I bought from when I first went to college, when I first had like my own bed and I was like an adult. This is the sheets from that. Ugh, that's good. That's good memories. And this towel actually, I think was donated to me from one of my exes, the one that lives in Hong Kong, when she left to go back to Hong Kong or whatever. She donated some stuff to me. So I'm like passing it forward, you know? And then I got him this blanket that, it was a weighted blanket, but it's really, really hot and heavy. So I'm just giving him, because Texas is hot a lot of times, guys. So I'm just giving him the blanket part. And then also, I have this like mattress topper thing. So I was like, you know what? That's better. I'm just gonna give this to him. I mean, sure, like I wasn't using it. I was gonna try to like donate. I had no idea what I was gonna do with it. And I was like, this is perfect, right? Because guys, I don't know if anyone's ever slept on the ground before. It sucks. It's very hard, especially the earth. Even if you put pine boughs down, y'all, it's not comfortable. It's not comfortable at all. And so, gonna give him that. And then Yeti's coming with me because she gets to experience this too. I'm like, Yeti, I'm here, you're here. We all get to experience it together. It is gonna kind of suck because tomorrow morning is the 12 days of Christmas workout. And the 12 days of Christmas workout always, guys, is like it's like almost an hour-long workout. And so I'm going to be spending the night, and that's at 9 a.m. So I'm going to be spending the night with Tyrone, my sleepover. I thought about bringing my tent because there was a flat space there, but I didn't want to deal with putting it up and stuff. And I'd rather just like sleep under the street lights or whatever's available back there. I don't know. But I'm going to have to get up tomorrow morning to go to the gym for the 12 days of Christmas because there's only one workout tomorrow morning. But I have the rest of the day, fortunately, to take a nap before I go to the Catholic Mass with Adam. The Mass with incense and everything. So that'll be a good time. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video of my adventures or what I'm doing. And yeah. See, this is what happens, guys, when you understand humans. You can go up to any human and you can get cool opportunities. So now we got to go on a camping trip. Because I don't know how many people can say that they have gone camping with philosophers on the eve of Christmas Eve. So much fun. But I do have some time, so maybe I will try. Oh yeah, and I was gonna give him this. I'm gonna recycle this because I finished reading it. And so I'm gonna donate this to him. So maybe because he likes God and Jesus and stuff, and so maybe he'll like it. So I don't know, because I'm done with it. I thought about giving him one of my prayer cards, my cards that I've made, but they're kind of sentimental to me. So I don't want to just like give it out to anyone, you know? So I'll give him this. Yeah. Which also there's a really funny story in here. Maybe I'll save that story. Maybe I'll get high, y'all. So I can really test myself. And I'm going to keep my snacks out to really just like bait myself and watch me struggle, y'all. Oh, it's going to suck. So maybe I'll go do that. Yes. Okay. Peace be with you.